It's a bad in every culture. There's a bad few that create the reputation, which...
Yeah, that's true, but why let those bad go?
Well, I don't care which side of the ocean you're on, this pond. Liberal insanity, their inability to think past one plane or think at all, and just parrot what they're told without thinking about what is being told to them, is stunning. And that'll show up when I'm talking to this young lady. There's one part in there where she goes, well, Trump's talking peace to these people. Like that, like it was a bad thing. I don't know. Anyway, she didn't know anything about Tommy Robinson, which surprised me, being from England, and she certainly knew even less about politics. But her parroting of the liberal bullshit is just amazing. But I did my Uncle Sam best to go ahead and try to put some common sense into that empty head of hers. I don't know if it'll work or not. Probably needs more than me. But you know what you do. If you like it, you like it. If you care, you share. And if you can, please subscribe, star.com, Badass Uncle Sam, PayPal. My subscriptions are dropping again. It amazes me. I can't believe it. I get up there and it starts going up and and all of a sudden it goes, boop! Like there's a governor or something on there. I can't get up. So check your subscriptions. Make sure they haven't knocked you off. I'll see you in the flip end.
Are you, being from England, are you familiar with this gentleman right here?
I'm not a very political person because I believe, like you, all governments are corrupt.
And because of that, you should be paying attention.
Yeah,
because, you may not be paying attention to them, but they are definitely paying attention to you.
Well, they're paying attention to themselves.
Well,
especially in the UK right now.
Indeed.
And it's ridiculous.
Yes, I assume that's why I would urge you to go ahead, maybe familiarize with Mr. Robinson.
Right.
He is fighting for your country, and the establishment is doing everything they can to silence him.
That's interesting.
He just was let out of prison they put him in prison simply for reporting the news.
Okay.
But because he wasn't reporting the news they liked, it wasn't the government-sanctioned news.
Right.
They demonized him and they put up bogus charges on him and put him in jail. So I highly recommend it.
In the UK, the most part, people think Trump is just a bigot. He's just not. He acts a fool. I think he's a businessman, he got an edge because of that. But the perception we have is,
Well, I think the perception again comes from the media.
Yeah.
And the media is corrupt.
Well,
We're talking about, the media over there is pretty much close to what ours is, or more so, in the sense that it's basically government sanctioned and run.
Yeah.
So if the government's corrupt, the media's corrupt. You can't understand. Obviously, these corrupt politicians cannot remain in office if it wasn't for a complicit media.
But how can you just keep firing somebody who tells you you're wrong? That's the perception we have.
Again, the perception that they give. And what's wrong with firing people who don't do the job? I mean, if someone comes along, doesn't do the job, doesn't do it, you understand, still got people in the White House that are trying to subvert his efforts. When I say the deep state, you're familiar with that term, is very, very deep. In other words, we have people that are in every one of our governments that are trying to subvert our government to work for, are you familiar with the term globalists?
Yeah.
There are basically two forces at work right now.
Okay.
There are the globalists and the nationalists. The nationalists want to keep our identity, our nation state identity and sovereignty. The globalists want to form a one world government. They want to eviscerate nation states and have corporations with the government form a one world, one monetary system.
Okay.
So that is the forces so you're going to have a great deal of these people that own the media that will purposely tell us lies in order to guide us into this. Oh, we're all one world now. Yes, we all got to be kumbaya. Let the borders open and let people in and have them destroy your culture.
Isn't he doing that in a different way? Isn't he speaking to Russia, Iran, all of those? Isn't he doing that?
I don't understand.
He's not opening the borders, but he's trying to be peaceful.
What's wrong with being peaceful?
No. But what you're saying as a nationalist, not wanting to be one with all the world, well, isn't he doing that?
But again, what is wrong with having, in other words, like you and I are separate people.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We could, let's say if we wanted to trade or do business, you could keep your identity. I'm not asking you to change anything, but our business we could come to an agreement on.
Right.
As a nation, let's expand it. As a nation, why should we be able to keep our identity and our sovereignty and still be able to trade, but work out a part, like a good trade deal?
Yeah.
Why should we, have these the EU and these globalist networks of trade?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what he's trying to do. In other words, let's have peace. Let's go ahead and talk with the people that we've been adversaries with. Because remember, the globalists want to have chaos. They love war.
Yeah.
So they will make up enemies, and they will, create. You're familiar with the term false flag?
No.
A false flag is when they might, let's say, bomb. Something gets bombed.
Yeah.
It might be the government that did it, but they'll blame someone else.
Like Saudi. Right? Like Saudi.
Yeah, they might blame some other country to go to war with, like we did it with Iraq.
Yeah.
I mean, weapons of mass destruction. We never found any weapons of mass destruction, and it wasn't Iraq that attacked us on 9/11.
No.
So they make up enemies, and 9/11 itself, by most people that I talk to, believe that 9/11 was a false flag, that there were governments, our government included, and others, England, Canada, when I say governments, I say bad players within the deep state, in other words, within these governments that perpetrated 9/11, created that attack. It wasn't 19 hijackers that brought down those buildings.
They say it's an inside.
It was an inside job.
So not all the news that we get is, we get differing perspectives, and it's a person's choice as to what they believe or don't believe.
Thank you. And I would, indeed, you have your intelligent person, you have the discernment.
Yeah.
Now, here is a rule of thumb that I go by.
Yeah.
If you're watching it on TV, typically it's going to be commercialized. In other words, they have commercials.
Right, yeah.
If they are running commercials, they are beholden to that corporate entity.
Right, yeah.
Give you an example.
Yeah.
Fox News here, half their commercials are pharmaceutical companies.
Right. Okay,
Now Fox is
paying for it.
Thank you. Now Fox is here supposed to be the more fair and honest, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's say a pharmaceutical company comes out with a vaccine that kills 2,000 people. Do you really think Fox News is going to go out of their way to report on that?
Probably not.
Thank you. So again, you take everything they say with a grain of salt. And again, I go back to 9/11. When was the last time any mainstream media told us the anomalies about 9/11 that I hear out here every day? I talked to a witness of 9/11 that was there, a survivor, out here last week, who told me stories that had never been heard before in the news, that completely destroy the official story. Completely destroy it. So if I can stand out here on the street and get these stories from people that were eyewitnesses that were there, why isn't Fox News or NBC or CSNBC or CNN or any of them reporting what I hear out here?
Because it's not news.
Well, it is news, but it's not the news that they want to perpetrate because it would destroy.
No news is good news. If they can portray shock horror, then that's what they want to portray.
Now, what I would do is start.
Why have you got that? Or do you think you're not the mainstream thought? Why would you need a bulletproof vest?
Oh, yeah, I think anytime you stand up and speak the truth, you're going to be shot down.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I go back to Tommy Robinson.
Right.
Here's a man he was from Luton. He had a shop, and next to him was a Muslim group rape ring that was going on in the shop next to him.
Okay.
And he kept on going to the authorities and said, "Excuse me, but could you do something about this?"
Yeah.
And it kept on being ignored. It kept on being so he said, "All right, the hell with it." He went out on the street and started reporting as a citizen journalist about the Muslims coming into his city, and how they were basically getting away with.
But that's not all, is it? It's not all.
No.
It's a bad in every culture. There's a bad few that create the reputation which...
Yeah, that's true, but why let those bad go? Why are the authorities ignoring them? I mean, that's what he was talking about. He says, he goes into neighborhoods, the no-go zones that most people... And he's willing to talk. He has Muslim friends, people that are on his side, because they know that those bad players you just brought up are giving the entire
bad reputation.
So he has Muslims that are with him, but because he's showing up the authorities for their ineptitude, their inability to do that because they're afraid to be seen as being racist, and not doing their jobs, children are dying. And because he's bringing them up and showing them for who they are, they are coming down on him. So he is one of your heroes. I think he's probably one of the brightest stars you got in Britain. I would listening to the independents. Last week I talked to two journalists out here. One was from Fox. She was an editor for Fox News. The other one was a journalist who used to work for Fox and NBC. She quit because she was not able to report. It was biased news. So she's got her own independent news network and blog now. Those are the people you listen to, the ones that are true to themselves, who will give up the big money in order to go out there and tell the truth. Those are the ones you listen to.
Interesting. Thank you for talking to me.
Oh, thank you for listening. So are you familiar with this gentleman here?
I am, for sure. Tommy.
Yeah.
I think he might be in jail now, isn't he?
No, they let him out a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they let him out. For reporting on the news.
Yeah, I remember reading it was pretty controversial, I think is the word.
I would think, I mean, after all he was doing was reporting on a report that was already reported on. And, things are happening in the UK pretty strange.
Oh, yes. For sure. So are you just promoting or...
I'm out here trying to get some dialogue, finding out what people think, because we got a crazy world going on, man.
For sure.
You know, see if what we can do about it, if there's anything going to be done about it. I mean, when you're throwing people in jail for reporting the news in the UK, you got problems.
Definitely.
I don't know what's happening in Amsterdam. Anything other than you guys legalized all the drugs, you know?
Yeah, we're talking about it. Amsterdam's always doing good. Only our mayor is fucking up.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Her son got caught running away from the police with a gun, which in Amsterdam is a big thing because we don't have guns.
A politician being a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, gee, wow, we've never heard of that before. We got a thing going on here now. The liberals are all up in arms because, you know, Trump called Ukraine and said, hey, could you look into Biden making this $1.5 billion deal for his son and, you know, bribing the guy to do it? You know, now everybody's up. Trump pointed out a crime. Oh, impeach him. It's like, what? Wait a second, the guy's pointed out a crime. What are you blaming him for? Why don't you blame Biden? He's the one that did the crime.
So was I wrong about that ditz? I mean, I don't know. All her brains must be in her tits because they certainly left her head. All right, thanks for coming by. And please, hit the like button, subscribe, and contribute if you can. It's sure needed. All right, God bless you, and pray for me. I'll see you on the streets.